So we're back with a part 2 video. I did part 1 on things I wish I knew when I first started at the gym, but I got a whole bunch of feedback, a whole bunch of questions, so we're just gonna jump straight in and get through another video of things I wish I knew when I first started training. There is no exact. We've said this before that there's no perfect, but also there's no exact. There's no exact number of reps you should get. There's no exact number of hours you should sleep or exact number of protein or fats or carbs that you should be hitting for, right? Everything's within a window and all of us are gonna be different. A really underrated part of consistency is actually finding a way to enjoy the process. So one of the best ways to do that is to train in an environment that you enjoy. Find some music that you like. Do an exercise that you like. Don't shoot for the perfect exercise because someone else told you it's good. Find exercises that you like and then build your workouts around that. Now remember that the gym shouldn't be a form of punishment. One of the first things you do when you go to the gym is you set a goal. And a goal is something that you can head towards, not something that you have to run away from. Spend a lot of time thinking about where you're trying to get to, and that will be a lot stronger motivation than trying to run from something that you don't want. Spend some time thinking about what you want to look like, but more importantly, what you want to feel like, how confident, how sexy you're going to feel in your own body when you can actually achieve some of these goals you set out. Failure is actually a good thing, okay? If you're doing a set of 15, but you can only get to 10, but that 10 is with good form, that's a win. I know a lot of people set that goal of 15 and then they'll let their form slip a little bit, they'll start cheating a little bit because they want to get to that 15. Remember what we said earlier, there's no magic in getting 15 reps. There is magic in making sure that you're training hard enough and with good technique so that you can actually stimulate a change in the muscle. When you're trying to figure out how hard you should be working in a workout, remember that we're not looking at just 1 week. We're looking at 4, 5, 6 weeks. Okay, so start a little bit lighter in week 1 and then look at adding a few extra reps, a little bit of weight. It's called progressive overload. But what you'll find is that by the end of your 4, 6, 7, 8 weeks, you'll actually be performing a lot better, and chances are you will probably be a lot further along than you thought you were gonna be. Starting out too heavy in week 1 is one of the easiest ways to ensure that you don't get proper progression over 2 or 3 months. You don't need pre-workout. You need to get off your phone and you need to time your rest sets. I'm gonna say this a bunch of times. There are no exercises you need to do. Unless you're gonna be a powerlifter, you don't need to squat. You don't need to deadlift. You don't need to bench press. You can do whatever you want to do, whatever you enjoy doing, and get creative in finding different ways to stimulate certain muscle groups. If you like doing push-ups, do push-ups instead of bench press. If you like lunges instead of squats, if squats don't feel right, lunges, leg press, hack squat. There are so many other variations you can do that you're going to enjoy and will probably give you a better result than forcing yourself to do an exercise you hate. So experiment and you can build from there. You'll figure out what works for you. A lot of trainers will tell you that you need to do an exercise. They are not good trainers. Find something else. Remember, coffee is always going to be your secret weapon. Should you cut and bulk? The answer is yes, but not yet. For anyone new to the gym and new to training, you're gonna get the best results you're ever gonna get if you're training consistently for the first 3 or 4 months. Okay, maybe even longer than that. But it's not really until after you've hit your newbie gains period, scientifically studied by the way, I'm not making that up. After that, and you're advancing a little bit as a lifter, that's where you may want to look at more of a cut and bulk type of cycle. Most people will just get more results out of fueling themselves to support their training. Little pro tip for you. If you're on a Smith machine or a leg press that's attached on a fixed axis, you don't need to make sure that the weights are even on both sides. You also don't need to use clamps. If you're worried it might fall off, use clamps, use plates, but chances are it doesn't matter if one side's heavier than the other. Lifting weights will absolutely change how your body looks. However, if you can nail down nutrition, you will get there 10 times faster than if you're just trying to get there with lifting weights alone. Be objective about your training data. Make sure that you're tracking as many things as you can. Write down your weights, write down your sets, write down your reps. Those things will be super important in actually figuring out whether you're progressing in the long run. You can look for trends in your data. With your body weight, the more you weigh yourself, the more data points you have. We know your weight can fluctuate 2 kilos in a day. That's not an accurate reflection. But if every day you're weighing yourself and you average out that week, that is going to be a very accurate and a much more accurate data set to use than just how heavy was I Monday? How heavy was I 2 weeks later? Because we know that those things change so frequently. The second part of that is actually be subjective with some of your data. How do you feel? How do you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror? How confident, how sexy do you feel? Those things are really important. So it's super important that when you're getting your objective data, you're actually comparing it to subjective data as well. Most of us initially got into the gym because we wanted to feel better about ourselves. Make sure you're writing that down somewhere, keeping a diary, making sure that you are actually feeling better about yourself through this process. Take rest days. Rest days are super underrated. There is no brownie points in burning yourself out. Let yourself recover, your body will thank you for it. Invest in yourself early. A good mentor is worth their weight in gold. But the earlier into that process you get the mentor, the more effective it's going to be. You would rather bring on a mentor right at the start of your journey and build some good foundations, rather than bring in a really experienced coach further down the track, then they have to spend all their time reworking some of your old habits. More time in the gym does not equal more results. Okay, we talked about rest days, super important, but keep your sessions short. If you can get the work done in a short amount of time, get out of the gym, go live your life and go eat and recover. Don't think that you have to spend 2 hours in the gym just to get a good session in. Genetics play a really important factor, but not in the way you think that they do. I can almost guarantee you that if you think you're one of those people that has a hard time putting on weight, you're not eating enough. You don't have to feel the burn. If you don't feel the burn during an exercise and you're not really sore the next day, you can still have had a really good workout. The goal is not soreness, and the goal is not to struggle to get through the workout, right? Progressive overload, making sure that you're progressing on something is more important than making sure that you're completely written off by the end of it. Personal bests are exactly that. They are your personal best effort. Do not base your progress off your personal bests, because chances are that's going to fluctuate day in, day out. If you can get 25 push-ups once a week, but the rest of your week you can only get 10, then work on getting 11 every day, not trying to get 35 on one day. Like, one of the things that people don't really take into account is that when you're dieting, your body gets so efficient at trying to conserve the calories. So, you know, when people have been dieting for a really long time and they're going into competition, like their faces will just drop and they look like really fucking mad all the time. But it's actually not that, it's that their bodies will not want to use the calories to raise your eyebrows and to smile. And one of the biggest things is that your entire body position changes, right? Like, I notice when I'm training my clients during my comp, I would just be finding something to lean against, or you find something to sit on. And it's just really uncharacteristic of you, but whether or not you're dieting or in a calorie surplus can actually change your body language and how well you can communicate with other people, because all of a sudden you stop talking with your hands and you start just going deadpan. You know, because I found, like what we were talking about before, because I found when I was training my clients, like I would normally, you know, if I'm training my clients, I'll be like really hands-on. And then for the last like 3 weeks, I would just be like, and I wouldn't even realize that I was standing there, and I'd be like, oh shit, okay, I gotta actually train my client now. So it's actually really hard on a personal trainer to make sure that they're still providing service. So that's something for clients and PTs to be aware of, that just because you're dieting means you can't let your body language change. You still need to be there with your client, even though it's burning into the 300 calories you have left for your day. All right, guys, so another video, got through a whole bunch of things there. If you've got any questions, hit me up, Coach Cadd, on pretty much every social media platform. If you've got any questions, if there's anything that you'd really like me to cover in a video, let me know. See you next time.